This is your dose of daily market wisdom with master trader Nick Santiago. Starting from humble beginnings, Nick has been beating the markets for over 2 decades. He shares with you his take on the profitable trades that will have you moving towards financial freedom in no time at all. To see an in-depth review of his track record and much more, go to inthemoneystocks.com. Welcome. This is your daily dose of daily market wisdom with master trader Nick Santiago. I'm Kerry, Lutz. Today is the first day of October 2020. This is show number 129. So, Nick, we got our initial claims for unemployment insurance today.
Yeah, that's right. We got it at 8:30 in the morning. We got our initial claims report that comes out every Thursday. And again, it was kind of in line with expectations. I believe it was 837,000. Expectations were for around, I believe, 840 or 850,000. So no big deal there. The weekly continuing claims came in at 11.76 million. So that was a little bit better. And tomorrow is really the big date. We'll have the non-farm payroll report by the Bureau of Labor Statistics, and that's going to be really watched closely because you had that big ADP job report yesterday. So everybody's expecting a good number out of the non-farm payroll report tomorrow. So we'll see what we get there. As I always say, I don't care really about the number. I just care about the reaction in the market. But, that is a big event tomorrow morning.
All right. So that'll be our Friday report. We'll be discussing that. And so markets are still up, huh?
Yeah, markets are up today. They actually had a really good move at the open, and they faded a bit, and now they're starting to rally back up. One thing I've always have told my members is to watch the trading volume. Today we're trading just 19.7 million. It's not terrible, but the first hour of trade, it's not very high either. So light volume favors upside in the market, so you want to keep an eye on that today. We also have a lot of headline risk going on right now. 1 minute there's chatter that there's a stimulus deal about to be struck between the Republicans and Democrats, and then another minute they're far apart. So yesterday we had a big rally, and then the rally faded late in the session on chatter from Mitch McConnell saying we're not even close to a deal, and the market sold off pretty sharply. So if you're a short-term trader, just understand you got some headline risk out here regarding that stimulus deal out of D.C.
Yeah. So what's your take? You think it's going to go through?
Oh, they'll eventually do something. They always do. They love to spend money. That's what they do best. So yeah, they'll come up with something eventually. Just might not be, at the moment, but eventually they'll have some kind of deal done.
Yeah, and we know that what the main sticking point is that the Dems want a bailout for cities and states of like $500 billion or so.
Yeah, I don't see that happening, though. So that's where the holdup could be. But they got to get, some money out to some of these businesses that are just suffering from states that have been closed. It's really just an injustice of what's taken place. Even today, I was just watching Fox Business earlier, and I saw somebody in New York City, and there's trash everywhere, and they're not even picking up the trash now. It's just really sad to see how some of these cities have fared recently. So, we'll see where it goes, but I definitely believe a deal will be done shortly.
Yeah, to see how they fared, to see how they failed. I mean, New York has become a failing city, a failed city. And New York,
it's a disgrace. It's actually terrible. I brought my family there. We were there in late December and early January, and I told my kids we may never ever see that city again. We may never go back there.
I wouldn't blame you. I got to tell you, it's shocking, and it was heading down since de Blasio took over, but now it's spiraling down the drain. So until, Cuomo was talking about sending in the National Guard to pick up garbage.
Well, I didn't hear that, but they're going to have to do something. It's an absolute disaster. I've never seen a city deteriorate that quickly, this rapidly. So it's an absolute disaster with what's going on there.
Yeah, the filth, the rats, you just can't even imagine. I was there. Been going into New York City my entire life. I was there a year ago, and the rats were running rampant. At least here in Florida, there's a reason for them because there's all this water, and they love water, and it's not from the filth. It's just from the positive environment for rats. But New York, It just reminds me of London, back in the dark ages here.
It's absolutely terrible. It's sad to say. It's sad to see, I should say, and it's sad to say that we have government out here that would allow this to happen. It's really disgraceful.
Yeah, completely disgraceful. One entertaining note here, perhaps a little entertaining, certainly amusing, is that Playboy is going to go public again. Did you see that?
Oh, I did not see that. I'll have to look into that a little bit. If you have any details, let me know.
Yeah, it was a zero hedge story, and basically said, I guess somebody, I don't know if they went bankrupt or not, but that somebody was going to bring them public again. I don't know. There's so much free porn. People just don't really want to pay for this stuff.
I don't see that publication really, surviving in this kind of environment. Everything has gone digital. I'm sure that's their plan, probably, is to go digital. But I just don't know if they would entice enough viewership at this stage of the game. But I'd like to see it come public, and we'd see if it is a viable stock. I don't think they did all that well when they went, basically closed shop. But it would be quite something to see if they are going to, be able to get an IPO out in this environment.
Yeah, they're looking to raise $100 million. They went bankrupt, and there's a blank check company called Mountain Crest Acquisition. So that basically, a blank check, if you're not familiar with it out there, is just a public company. It goes public, raises capital with no particular intention in mind, and then they go find an investment for it. So disclosures, it makes it easy for companies to go public. They reverse merger, and it's pretty amusing to see. I think it's a sign of what's happening in the markets as much as anything else, Nick.
It really is. It really is. I mean, if you just look at the amount of secondaries that have taken place recently, I mean, it's unbelievable. I don't think in all the years I've been doing this, I've seen this many secondaries. And then you have so many IPOs coming out right now. Palantir was another one. So I guess, this is that hot market where you want to get them. If you want to raise capital, this is where you have to do it. But a lot of froth out here.
Yeah, a lot of froth. And finally, let's take a look at our precious metals markets here.
All right, today we have gold up about $11.80 on the futures, trading at around 1907. Silver up 33 cents, trading at 23.83 on silver futures. So both are higher today. And again, I just want to say this. When the markets are up, generally gold is going to be up. When the markets fade or sell off, you're going to see a sell-off in gold. Right now, gold seems to be trading right with the overall market indexes.
Yeah, well, that's an interesting take on it. I haven't heard before. So pretty much gold and silver are following the market.
Yeah, they're just indicating when asset prices inflate, and when they sell off, it's basically when asset prices deflate. Gold is a great indicator of overall inflation and asset price bubbles. So I love gold long term, as you know, Kerry. Right now, I still think we need to do some overall backing and filling, but you can see gold doesn't really back off that much. It kind of holds steady, and when the markets get a bid, that usually is an indication that gold will get a bid. Now, there's some days where it will do the opposite. It'll divert. But for the most part, the gold runs up with the market because it's telling you, think about it, markets go up really for what reason? It's not so much that companies are so sensational. It's really because there's just so much money being printed. There's so much there's so much liquidity in the system. And that's a bullish indication for gold going forward.
Hey, and the other thing we should note is, 1900 is not a major support or resistance point. It is a psychological point because it's a whole number, and we're back over $1,900 again.
That's correct. That's a great point you made. And, when gold had its recent pullback just 5 days ago, it went down basically to its 100-day moving average. I know a lot of people don't look at that. They look more at the 200-day or the 50-day, but they went right to the 100-day moving average. I'm going to just let everybody in on a little secret. Gold loves the 100-day moving average. If you go back and look historically, you could go back even, over 10 years, and you'll see that gold, a lot of times, gold futures will go to its 100-day moving average. Now, if we break that 100-day moving average, the next big level would be around 1,800. But so far, the 100-day moving average at around 1,855 has been defended. And until that breaks, that's still the level to go against.
Yeah, that's interesting analysis. What happens if we break 2,000 again?
Well, if you break 2000, then you have to look back at your highs from August, and your highs from August really were around 2089, 2089, and then it's 2100 whole round number, and then it's potentially off to the races. But all you have to do is just look at a big time frame chart. I mean, the pattern is just putting in a bullish pattern. I mean, that's all that's happening. Look at a monthly chart of gold futures. You're going to see big thrust that took place in July, and then since then we had the top in August, and we're just putting in what we call an inside bar pattern, and that's one of the most bullish patterns you could find.
All right, we're in an inside bar pattern, you said?
Yep, inside bar pattern. That's a very, very good bullish longer term pattern for more upside.
Well, I like the sound of that inside bar pattern, and I guess we'll expound on that more on the next couple of shows, I think. Anyways, that's it for today. Tune in for tomorrow when we get that big employment number and see what the market is going to do then. In the meantime, go to inthemoneystocks.com, check out the info there and Nick's extensive trading record. And the Twitter feeds are at ITMS, at Nick Santiago01, at Kerry Lutz. And while you're at it, send us an email with your thoughts. Where do you think gold is heading and where do you think the market's heading? The email address for that is kl@kerrylutz.com. And Nick, we'll talk to you tomorrow.
Sounds great.
And so concludes another episode of Daily Market Wisdom with Master Trader Nick Santiago. Be sure to go to his website, inthemoneystocks.com. Don't forget the Twitter feeds at ITMS and at Nick Santiago01.